Tar Heels abound at halftime. It's 0-0 between North Carolina and Clemson on ACC Network Extra in this ACC semifinal. As we welcome you up to the booth, we've got a special guest. We promised, we've delivered. Heather O'Reilly, Cat Whitehill, Mike Watts. Heather, a little bit of a homecoming here in a couple ways. Get to see North Carolina and obviously the Courage playing right here. Obviously championship season, that must feel pretty good to be back already.
Yeah, Wake Med is a great soccer facility, and it's a meaningful one to me. I know, and to Kat as well. Had a lot of wonderful memories here at the University of North Carolina. Won national championship here my freshman and senior year. One of those was with Kat in 2003. And then, yeah, full circle to come around now and play my professional football at the North Carolina Courage back here at Wake Med is really special for me. So, and, you know, we had a little bit of success this season with the Courage as well. So maybe it's the field, maybe it's the personnel. I don't know.
So you coming back to play for the Courage next year?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes,
all right,
yes.
Sure.
Can't get rid of me yet.
Okay, good. So this, you know, obviously the ACC is a special time for you. Can you think of one memory specifically of the ACC championship, specifically the tournament?
Oh, I always think of a teammate of mine named Libby Guess, who was just an absolute legend. I actually just came back from her wedding this weekend. Oh. You know, the ACC tournament was a special one because it's kind of nestled right between regular season and the NCAA tournament. So it allows almost a little preview of what you're going to get into at the NCAA tournament. I bring up Libby because she was always like the ACC hero, tournament hero. But it's a really good opportunity to kind of get into that tournament mode. And we won three ACC championships here during my time, but I remember as thinking of it as, okay, regular season's over, now we're entering the postseason, and just the pressure gets raised a little bit, and I know that's where Anson and Dino and crew are at their best.
Well, we were talking to Eddie Radwanski, the coach of Clemson, and he called it, it's almost like you're in the College Cup when you are in the Final Four in the ACC championships. Would you agree?
Oh, I think so. I think the ACC has a lot of the top teams in the country, and we've had our fair share of battles, you know, with other colleagues of ours, and discussing that ACC is the strongest conference in the country, and I think it still remains to be. So I think that you face some of the best, you know, teams that you would face anyways in the tournament. You're doing it in a very condensed fashion. You know, playing Friday, Sunday it's difficult, and it's difficult physically, but you get a lot of good minutes against good teams and test kind of where you're really truly at.
Well, so what do you think of North Carolina tonight? How do you think they're playing in this first half?
Well, I think they're unlucky not to be up. I think it's kind of, you know, a one-way street here on this field. Carolina's getting a lot of opportunities, hit the crossbar a few times early. They're definitely missing Alessia Russo. It's been an unfortunate injury and poor timing for her personally. So they're missing a little bit of quality in that final third. But I think that they have increased their depth in comparison to years past. They do have, you know, Anson Dorrance's famous, you know, rotation of players, and now they have, you know, 5-6 players deep that can really make an impact on that front line. So although they're missing Alessia Russo, I do think that they have a lot of other players that are stepping up. Maddie Schultz, Alex Kimball are players that have raised their game, and hopefully they'll get one in the back of the net now and stay away from the post monster.
I'd heard some rumors that she could be a great commentator someday.
Yeah,
I think someday is whenever,
that was great.
whenever she wants to go for it.
Oh, thanks.
Heather O'Reilly.
Are you giving me a job?
Yeah.
I mean, I could step out.
Oh, thanks. I like playing soccer too much, so maybe one day soon.
For a while longer. Heather O'Reilly joining us in the booth as the North Carolina Courage, former UNC star, joins us here. It's halftime between Clemson, North Carolina. Plenty more coming up from Cary, North Carolina after this.
Oh, thank you.
Under the bright lights of the ACC tournament, welcome back to college soccer on ACC Network Extra as Clemson, number 23, the 5 seed North Carolina, third in the country, number 1 seed in the ACC scoreless at halftime. With Cat Whitehill, Mike Watts, we've let Heather O'Reilly get off to her seat. Let's take a look at the ACC award winners, and how about the players that are both here and the ones who aren't. Sam Coffey's out of the tournament, got knocked out by Clemson. Russo for North Carolina called up to the national team before she broke her leg, and of course we got a chance to see Sam Staub in this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's an impressive list, and usually Zhao we're going to see in the next game, and she's been a really impressive freshman from China for Florida State. And for Anson Dorrance to win the Coach of the Year, you know, you think that he has a ton of them, but he actually doesn't. And this year, he went undefeated in this ACC, when we just talked about how strong ACC is, for him to go undefeated is quite the testament to him and his team.
And now a chance for you to be an unabashed ACC homer. Go for it.
Well, look, it's hard to deny the numbers here when it comes to the ACC. And year in and year out, they are constantly putting a lot of teams in the NCAA tournament. There's a good chance there could be 10 to 11 this year in the NCAA tournament. And there's only 8 teams in the ACC tournament. So that just shows you how strong this conference is. And we talked to all the coaches, and they talked about how this could be one of the best. It just kind of depends on, depending on the year that they had 8 teams in the Sweet 16. So we'll see what happens in the NCAA tournament. But those numbers, it's hard to deny that ACC is the best conference.
Yeah, Eddie Radwanski saying that he's waiting to see what things look like as the NCAA tournament progresses. Will they continue in the ACC tournament? Take a look at highlights, stats, getting ready for the second half next. Two teams known for their defensive capabilities showing off in this first half. We're scoreless in semifinal number 1 in the ACC tournament from Cary, North Carolina, between Clemson and North Carolina. Back with Cal Whitehill, Mike Watts on hand. First half highlights, and really it's going to be a lot of North Carolina because they were the ones with the ball the most.
Well, and it's going to be a lot of Andrew Jeske because she's the one that had the 2 best opportunities, even though that one she could have left to Alex Kimball because she had a little bit better of an opportunity on the backside, but this one was the absolute best for North Carolina. Schultz with the first initial touch to beat the defender, which was amazing. Finds Andrew Jeske on that backside, and then it lands right to Kimball, and she just misses the wide open net. And she's really going to want that one back, and that's what Heather Riley was talking about. This is where they really miss Russo because she just had that knack for always finishing those goals, but Kimball has a second half to recover from that.
Well, Heo can join us another time. It's the two of us the rest of the way. We've got the second half coming up between Clemson and North Carolina after this. Clemson has broken their huddle and they're off onto the field. Number 23 against number 3 seeds 5-1 in the ACC semifinal. And the head coach for the Clemson Tigers, Eddie Radwanski, joins us from the sideline. Coach, what was the conversation at halftime with your team?
Well, one of my messages to the team was I just thought we played a little bit too apprehensive and we were on the back foot, and that's really not who we are. I wanted our players to have a little bit more belief and trust and courage, and we just need to be braver on the ball. You know, North Carolina was braver on the ball, and they took the game to us, and credit to how they played. But I just think we're capable of more, and we need to change that.
How do you get more players into your attacking third? It seemed like it was only 1 to 2 to maybe 3 players getting in there.
Well, Kat, you know as well as I, if you don't connect passes, then you're not going to be able to get numbers up the field. And we didn't do a very good job of that, and let's give North Carolina some credit for their defending and their pressure. You know, it goes back to being brave on the ball. We could talk tactics all we want. If we're not going to be brave enough and strong enough to want the ball and to change the point of attack, then we're in for a long night. You know, if we don't lift our game, it's going to, we're going to have to deal with some pressure.
Coach, thanks for the time. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Well, it was the loss to Boston College 7 games ago that caused this team to get together and decide we're going to recommit to this cause. It was a team meeting that he led in the locker room after that game, and he feels like since then 13 of the 14 halves they've played have been on point. He called it a little New Jersey talk from Coach Eddie, and it seems like they've been able to put it all together for the most part since then. This is when they're playing their best soccer, Cat, and as they look into this second half, he talks about a little bit of bravery and attitude adjustment. Well, it sounds like a little New Jersey talk from Coach Eddie again. Yeah,
it had to be. They did not perform well. You can take another one of those halves and not put in the bad column for them since that Boston College game, and they have to respond, and they can. They've responded before. And they just have to get ready for that pressure. If they can connect passes, if they can get players on the ball, especially in the midfield, then Speckmeyer will start having the ball. Westlake and Jones on the outside, they'll start seeing more space on the outside they can run into. They just haven't been able to do that thus far in this game.
On to the second half in Cary, North Carolina, of game number 1 with Virginia and Florida State waiting for the second matchup. Florida State upsetting Duke in the opening round of the tournament, so a 7 seed has arrived into the semifinals. That's maybe the most misleading seed number ever. All lobbed along for Pinto.
Shows you the ACC. You know, you just lose a couple of games and you're a 7th seed. So that's how tough it is to win this conference.
Jeske heaving it off. Ashley wins throw here for North Carolina. Defense game from Lauren Harks. I'm not sure when Virginia Tech made it to College Cup that they even made the ACC tournament that year. I mean, it is that level of competitiveness. Comes with the territory. Carolina and Clemson scoreless here. And maybe the best looking opening for Clemson yet. Collision just outside the penalty area and cleaned up by Carolina.
Now the pressure's being applied by Clemson, and they are forcing North Carolina into unforced errors and giving the ball away too easily in the back. So good adjustment so far. I know it's early, but we didn't see any of this in the first half.
And there's that switch we've been waiting for into some space. Just upfield by Moeller. Speckmeyer flag is up against Courtney Jones.
But see how quickly they go from side to side. That's where you can exploit North Carolina, because they want to force so many players onto one side because of that high pressure. If you can relieve the pressure with 1 to 2 passes and a quick switch, and you'll have acres of space to run in, dribble through, get some overlapping runs, combination play, because there's only a couple of UNC players that are going to be anywhere near that ball.
Skipping through, collected by Kimball.
And that's that final pass that Anson Dorrance was talking about right before he went into his halftime talk, and that's just a wasted effort there from Kimball. She had plenty of time. No one from Clemson was on her. She should have turned, looked up, seen where Andrew Jeske was running into the space, and instead she kind of blindly sent the ball too hard and gives up an easy goal kick for Clemson.
Much better start from Clemson as Jones run into by Goff. Well, to reset the table here a little bit, Russo, the offensive player in the ACC, is out with a broken leg. The star outside back for Carolina, and Emily Fox, called up to the U.S. women's national team for their trip around Europe, will miss the ACC tournament as well as the first round of the NCAA tournament. On the other side, Mackenzie Smith is out. A junior holding mid that's crucial to the way they play. Ball drops down. Nice calm clearance. Speckmeyer can't come away with it. Whoa, first shot on target. Not sure it was intended that way.
Do they consider that a shot?
The ball would have gone in if unimpeded. I think that counts.
Okay, all right. It's gray area, I think.
I think that's Tar Heel blue area.
No, I think that's just soccer saying that. She did not mean for that to be a cross. I mean a shot. She meant for it to be more of a cross.
This will roll out and stay with Carolina. Julia Ashley, relentless worker, one of those players that holds everyone around her accountable. Started all 20 games this year, 16 in white and Carolina blue. Can't sneak it through for Andrew Jeske. Now, one thing I thought was interesting from Heather O'Reilly at halftime was that continued conversation about depth, because there have been North Carolina teams in the last couple of years where you lose stars of that caliber and you don't really know you can keep the same level. You'll find a good player, but maybe not that same exceeding level.
What's funny, I was thinking the same thing during the first half, how it didn't seem like the level from North Carolina dropped when they put the subs into play.
That's a great touch around. And the race is on. Brooke Power slows down, run into by Pinto. Here comes Speckmeyer. Trying to load up. That is out for a Clemson corner. And this is an area where you came into the game thinking North Carolina, if they're going to win, have to defend these set pieces well.
They do, and this is a dangerous one for them because you have a lot of tall players in those orange jerseys that North Carolina has to be aware of. North Carolina is typically mainly in a zone, so that gives a free opportunity for the Clemson players to run without really being impeded, without a lot of bodies on them. So North Carolina has to make sure they cover their spaces and get that first early ball on a good clearance.
Sam Staub, 33 career assists. Driven ball across. Turning effort. Can be turned on target by Hartz. Out to Jones. Staub. Here comes Schultz. Keevers got it off the bounce.
Well, and Julia Ashley saw Pinto down the opposite side flank. Tons of space. She just hit it. Pinto was screaming for it.
Jones plays through Speckmeyer. 2 orange jerseys making a central run. Speckmeyer can't pull that ball through. Pinto's pass intercepted. Advantage played for North Carolina. Ashley for Andrew Jeske.
The near post run happened that time from Kimball, which Anson talked about they needed to do better of, but the cross wasn't on. Wasn't good enough, goes out of bounds.
Kimball out of Chapel Hill in North Carolina. Played at Chapel Hill High School, about a half-mile from where Anson Dorrance lives. The patience of a fifth-year senior waiting for the opportunity. Had a yawning net in the first half. And a ball that, to be fair, did hop up on her a bit. And unlucky not to have the go-ahead goal in this game. Best opportunity so far for Carolina. As UNC with a undefeated, untied season, which in the age of parity is all the more impressive than maybe it even would have been last time it happened a decade ago. You think back to last year when Duke made their run, all those seniors and NWSL talent on that roster. Jeske. The ACC is not a league typically for the freshmen and sophomores.
It's definitely one that it takes a long time to adjust, and coaches all across the ACC say, you know, when you're a freshman, you know that they're still adjusting. Some players adjust a little bit quicker than others, but it is so physical in this league, and the technical and tactical ability is just so good. And you try and have hard games before the ACC to prepare yourself, but it's hard to prepare anyone for this kind of tough test, game in and game out.
Case in point, Antio gets the foul here. Speckmeyer's getting a talking to referee Sergio Gonzalez. Ruben Moy. Collision in the box and a foul. Kimball hasn't been afraid to mix things up on these set pieces.
She really hasn't. She's all over where the ball is being played, and so she has a good sense of it, but she just wants to plow other people to get to that ball, and that's what the referee called that time. But just fearless on set pieces, and just wants to get anywhere close to the box to get that goal that she so closely had in the first half.
Kimball taps it down. It's taken away. Speckmeyer has come up with a lot of timely goals this year. Leading ball. Side from Courtney Jones. Pops up at midfield. Andrew Jeske goes into the challenge. Well, it's late. There's no advantage for Clemson.
Carolina.
Well, the call should have been made right away. There was no advantage anywhere after this if the ref really did think it was a foul. And the elbow does come up a little bit, which is the right call. Anytime that elbow comes up like that, it's dangerous when it's near the head. But Andrew Jeske was a little bit upset because she did win the ball outright. It was just that right elbow that got her in trouble.
Staub will step back. First, soccer was a social thing. All her friends were playing. Then she realized she's actually pretty good at this. There comes out of Scripps Ranch, San Diego area, California. Staub. Right back up the middle of the field. And the slide from Colborn comes up empty. Here comes Andrew Jeske. It's by Guion. Hinto identifies the opening, and ball struck by Bailey. Ball hit long. Kimball the target. McKeever is there.
Brianna Pinto is just a special player, and Anson calls her speed of play world-class already as a freshman. And to be honest, one of the big reasons to me why the United States didn't make it out of their group is because they didn't start Brianna Pinto in those games. They should have started her in that midfield because she is a change of speed. She's so fast and yet so tough in there, but she has great vision and can connect passes so well, and she's patient in the attack, but also very good at recovering and being a defensive midfielder as well. So for her not to play as much in that U20 World Cup, I think was a detriment to the U.S. team. And you can see how strong she is for this North Carolina team right now, and getting all ACC honors as well. So it's just, she's going to be a special player one day.
Believe it or not, she was the youngest player on the U20 roster, too, for the United States. Couple of changes as we the hour mark in this first semifinal. Don't let the long-term series history deter you from thinking that this game was going to be close. The last 6 all within 1 goal, and this is turned over in the back. Schultz lost her footing, and McKeever drives it away. Parks a foul.
When the pressure is back from North Carolina, it was such a good beginning to the second half for Clemson, but now they haven't really connected as many passes as they started out, and they're turning the ball over unnecessarily. Fouls and good positions for North Carolina. They just have to be smarter and settle down again. They know they can do it. They had a brief stint at the beginning of this half, so they can do it. They just have to remember and take just a deep breath and go back to that game plan.
Free kick, Carolina. The wind whips in. Offside flag is up. The near touchline.
Offside, Carolina.
I mean, Kimball feels like the kind of player that Clemson wants on their team. Like, you know, the person who gets in the alley and finds a way to win a fight.
She really is everywhere, fearless. Whenever that ball comes near her, she will run through anyone to get to the end of the ball, and A couple of fouls called against her, but she's still going.
Here's Pinto, that really impressive performance at the U20 World Cup. Recruited by FSU, but Dad wanted to see her play, so North Carolina got the edge. Native of Durham. Couple changes. Rachel Jones returns.
Also entering.
Clemson making a few moves.
Rachel Jones, replacing number 1, Madison Schultz.
Dorwart in for Kimball, Jones for Schultz.
One thing that helps Brianna Pinto is before when she was, the NCAA wouldn't allow her at a certain point, but for a little while there, she got to play pickup soccer with her dad and Anson. And so Anson got to see her early on. Then she had to stop because of NCAA rules and everything, but they saw that she was a special player when she was young.
Jeski swipes it aside. Dorwart. This is lifted away. 9 shots for North Carolina in this game. 8 in the first about 33 minutes, and 1 since in what's nearly been another half an hour. This looks promising, though. Ball gets up, smacks off the defender, Moeller.
Substitutions for Clemson. Entering number 11, Kimber Haley.
Breach still, McKeever's goal.
Replacing number 6, Lauren Harks.
Harks out. Replaced by Kimber Haley, one of the leaders on the field for this Clemson side. Oh, excellent move inside and play back toward the penalty spot. There's an appeal by this crowd. It's not going to be heard for a penalty. Clean challenge. Pinto spun out and continuing on. Ashley. High arcing ball. Will run all the way to Moeller.
I think the referee was right on that call. It looked like at the very end. Yeah, it was a right call from the referee. Kingman came in at the last second to try and win that, but Haley does a good job of sliding in and easily winning that ball. The referee was right there, so he made the right call. No penalty kick.
And her down, Haley. Advantage played for Carolina. Andrew Jeski running up the right, looking to cut this back. It had gotten out. Referee's going to come back and show a yellow card.
And the right call from the referee again for the yellow card. Definitely would have been a foul, but the play advantage was right, but Andrew Jeski's first touch just got away from her. And here's a foul right here, and Kingman does a good job of winning, and then you can just see that Haley is just all over her, grabbing her jersey.
Yellow card, Clemson, number 11, Kimber Haley.
Haley, nobody there. Otto, collision, middle of the field. All caromed out to Pinto. Otto, little hold-up play. Get through the space. Kingman Great ball into the wing. Pushing to the byline. Jones out in front. Dorward. Dorward, another look. It's in for North Carolina.
Well, this was excellent patience from North Carolina, from the right side to the left side, changing the point of attack. And then Jones is able to get free and beat her defender. Dorward didn't get the first initial shot, but was able to get the second one. And here it is. Rachel Jones, it's good to have her back from injury. Player from Jamaica, just tremendous on that first touch, beating her player in line, and well done from Dorward to stay with the ball, even though Clemson's defense has a nice job of trying to clear it. Staub was right there and just slips right under McKeever's hand, and this is a deserved goal for North Carolina. They've dominated this game except for a few minutes, and just well played in their attack. And finally, Anson Dorrance has to be happy. They finally finished one.
Jones, the game winner against Clemson. Now perhaps the game-winning assist. And yep, no more time for Clemson to sit back and wait.
Maybe to wake them up. They've been defending so much.
Speckmeyer, help defense swarms. Plays this wide. Collected and ushered out. Day.
Substitution for Carolina.
Torian Bailey checks in. Replacing Taylor Otto. So if you're Clemson, is it a tactical change? Are you moving an additional number out of the back line? Are you waiting 15 minutes to make that move? When's the right time?
I'd probably wait about 10 minutes to make a move and really put the pressure back on North Carolina. Go a little bit more direct. Even though they are trying to play out of the back, it's not working for them in this game. So they might need to change the game plan just a little bit.
Speckmeyer slowing up, turning on the jets and trying to play this wide, and got caught up in the field along the way. Showing off a little bit of creativity there.
Creativity into the very last effort. Just plays it out of bounds when her teammate was on about 3 touches before that, and that's been the difference for Clemson in this game. It's one too many touches, and North Carolina pressure has put the defense under pressure. Now they are in the attack. The ball goes out of bounds for an easy goal kick for North Carolina. There's still time, though, for Clemson to adjust. They're used to in-game adjustment, so they can still get a goal. It's just been difficult for them, and they're attacking third all game.
Foul from Clemson, drawn by Jones.
And Jones wins the initial ball. And it's an interesting foul there from Colburn. He reaches in, definitely gets a piece of Jones on that one. But a lot of momentum from Jones, so that's why she went to the ground. But it's an easy foul call from the, or touch foul from the referee.
Aligned McKeever collects, sprints out. There's no options.
You know me, I like to let him play.
Yep. That was a philosophy back from when you were playing forward in Alabama, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
They're on the ground. It wasn't my fault.
No,
Promise.
No, it never was. Header into an onside position. Raday by Dorward. Pinballs between Kingman's feet. Goes right back to Haley. Speckmeyer. A muscle here. Going one-on-one. Speckmeyer's won a corner.
Well done.
That didn't look too promising when the second defender came.
Yeah. Well done to get that corner kick, because I thought for sure she was going to get stuck.
She just looks a little bit exhausted, doesn't she? She sort of has her hands on her hips. Now she's starting to.
That's frustration.
Yeah.
She hasn't touched the ball as much as she wanted.
Staub, an out-and-out winner. All ACC for the third time. Staub back across this clearance out by Westlake and hit from distance off the crossbar, nearly from Haley, still alive and wide. Nearly and Teal on the following effort.
That's the set pieces that I was talking about. It comes back out because it's a poor clearance from Pinto. And what an effort here from Haley. It looked like Leshnak was like, that's going in the back of the net. But fortunately, the post saved him.
Another look here, a second ball. Driven to the penalty spot and headed wide. And Leshnak's run of about 1,050 minutes without allowing a goal.
I was wondering if you were going to get there.
Give or take.
A lot quicker than me on that one.
What, another 8? We're talking 1,058 and 15 seconds right now.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
I can't confirm or deny that that's right because that's math, and I don't want to go there.
Shooters in that last exchange were number 11, Kimber Haley.
Clemson held the 5 shots against Florida State. Back on the 4th of October, right now sitting on 3, and they've all come in the second half.
Well, if Clemson can continue what they just did, then they're going to get past 5 because that was their best opportunity all night.
Slipped ahead and deflected on the way. Speckmeyer a bit roughed up. Staub. Both sides making a substitute. Under 19 minutes to play. Umu Chirera coming on.
You can hear people saying "Rue." That would be a fun name to have for people to do that in the stands for sure.
Get out! Wait!
Bouncing by Colborn. Chirera, as Doran said, was one of the most terrifying recruits that he's ever brought in. That could go a lot of different ways. This ball struck across from Chirera. Comes to Pinto.
Clemson has done an excellent job defensively of blocking those shots, not even letting them get to McKeever. They're closing that space so quickly that it looks like players from North Carolina have a free look at those shots coming out from the deflections. But because of the space being closed so quickly from Clemson, they're not even getting it close to being on frame.
Pinto gets a breather. Otto comes on. Day. And from the back line. Mercer is slotted in at center back alongside Mueller. Both players coming off the bench on the day. And both, it should be noted, underclassmen. Bingham. Bingham trying to play it through. Chirera. Bingham, we were told, family of goat herders.
That's what Anson said. You would see her. She would send pictures of her juggling, and the goats would be in the background. So.
Has had a standout sophomore season.
She's been excellent in this game as well. Just missed on that final pass.
Oh, look at the speed here from Mackin. Speckmeyer running out of room. Well, maybe this is where a long throw could come into play. Chance to come up with something a bit creative. Jeff Robbins, the assistant coach, his specialty really to find a way to take advantage of these set pieces, especially the long throw. You don't get assists on this just for snapping it in there and hoping.
That's kind of become a thing now. There's throw-in specialists as coaches. Liverpool men have one, and now Clemson has one as well, and it's really benefited teams.
Backward. Mercer get here. No, but Mercer misfires entirely, sliding in. That's a yellow card.
That's close to being a red, because there weren't many defenders behind her. Just came in early up the field, but you have to take another look at that to see if those cleats came up on this tackle, because it was so late. Mitchell had gotten there in plenty of time, and that's a close call there from Mercer. She comes in, and she's so late. Tries to stop herself, so maybe that's why she only gets the yellow, but there weren't a lot of orange jerseys behind her, and Mitchell had been able to play that ball, and there was a couple of UNC players that it could have gotten on the end of it.
Mucherera checks out. Mercer there, the yellow. As we still have a quarter of an hour to play in this first semifinal. Plenty of time for Carolina to put it away or Clemson to claw back in. Keep their ACC tournament hopes alive. Well, it feels like a borderline precursor to College Cup that'll be here next month. Goff, both parents, grandfather, brother Daniel, all UNC alums.
Number 8, Brianna Pinto, replacing number 3,
Waiting to throw, the native of Dunn in North Carolina.
Replacing number 15, Zoe Renee.
Pinto striding forward. Andrew Jeske lofting over the back line, and it's caught by McKeever. Warwart looking for a second.
What a good offsetting run there from Pinto. Coming from the midfield. Andrew Jeske just misses on that final ball, but a good idea. Clips it right over the defense, but this little bit slicker field because of the rain beforehand is why that ball goes right to McKeever. But look at this. You see the offsetting run. Pinto's looking for it and just misses. Had Pinto been able to even get a touch on that before the bounce, that would have been an incredible opportunity for North Carolina.
One of the most complete freshmen ever recruited to North Carolina.
Replacing number 18, Grace Wagner.
Come back on a moment ago. Dorwart on the field now, so it's 1-0 to North Carolina. Under 14 minutes to play.
It looks like Dorwart's won some of the playing time because of that goal, and she's played really well at holding the ball up top for North Carolina. It's kind of a collective effort to see who's going to step up for North Carolina with Russo out.
Interesting time to experiment with that striker position.
Didn't have much of a choice.
Nope. Staub trying to prolong her ACC career.
Well, this Clemson team, they're a good team. It's a very good side that has just struggled a little bit today, but I would not be surprised if they make a big run in the NCAA tournament. Now they just have a little bit more time to rest if the score remains like this, but this team can turn it around easily, especially with this player on the ball right now.
Staub tried to square that off. Pinto on it. Now, the RPI for Clemson really isn't that impressive. That's really not the mark that they're going to claim for their tournament resume. One of the many ACC schools in the top 50 RPI. But that number 23 ranking and some significant wins. There's the ACC in the top 50.
That's just tremendous. I mean, you got to look at that, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that the ACC is just so hard, so the RPI is going to automatically go up. But to have that many teams, and you know they're most likely going to get into the NCAA tournament, it's just incredible what this conference is doing right now.
Yeah, you would anticipate most every team on that graphic is in next week, end of this week, I suppose.
I mean, I definitely would, but sometimes NCAA can just throw a curveball on you, so you never know.
Once in a while. I believe the win against BC was the third upset by Clemson this year. Got a couple of those top 25 wins. Solid record. 5th in the ACC standings. There's a lot going their way. Would not be concerned on their account. North Carolina's in. Tack on here. And a goal kick for McKeever.
Substitution for Carolina. Entering number 47, Alex Kimball. Replacing number 9, Rachel Dorwart.
Kimball for
Substitution
Dorwart.
for Clemson. Entering number 2, Miranda Wesley. Replacing number 12, Sarah Osborne.
Slake on for Osborne. That's more of an offensive move.
Yeah, and you're seeing Clemson more in a 3-back as well. You're going to have Jones kind of cover a little bit in the back, but they're going to put some numbers forward now. Put the pressure on North Carolina. They're going to get Staub more in the midfield, see if she can't help with some service, changing the point.
This is a Clemson side that feels like their best is still ahead of them. It's not to say they don't have players they're going to miss on their roster. Staub, obviously. But, you know, Speckmeyer's only a sophomore, 2 more years with her. They feel like recruiting classes that are coming are going to continue to improve the Clemson program for years to come.
It's an excellent program, and what Coach Radwanski's done there is just really improved year by year, and so he's continued his recruiting, and the growth of these players is so important, like Speckmeyer and other players, and just really working together and becoming, you know, a big-time program, and they really want to keep reaching that next level in the tournament play. You know, Coach Radwanski obviously wants to get this off his shoulder one day of beating North Carolina, and it could be tonight, but he definitely wants to get that off of his plate because it's the only team that he, as a coach, has not beaten. So he's building a great program down there, so it's exciting to see what Clemson can become.
Pinto and Power into the challenge. Then coming up in the nightcap of this doubleheader, what a great semifinal on tap. Florida State taking on Virginia. For Kimball. Kimball goes blasting in shoulder to shoulder, and it is a corner. Mercer last to touch it.
Nansen Dorrance was right. It is like when she goes in for the ball, it's like people are bouncing off of her, and she just goes in, gives a little nudge, and gets the corner kick for North Carolina.
Just never heard of muscle density being described as the reason for that.
I don't think I have either.
sort of whipping in all different directions depending on which flag you decide to look at. Ruben Moy. Snap down off of Kimball. Kimball trying to keep it alive. Over Westlake and recovered by Ruben Moy. Oh, that's brilliant. Kimball, Andrew Jeske at the post. Flag is up here. This gets sent over the crossbar regardless.
You're right. What a little flick there from Bailey. Surprised she even saw her teammate, but just carried it over because the ball wasn't going to reach there. But good opportunity there, just offside for Andrew Jeske.
Bingham for Leshnak. The longest individual shutout streak in North Carolina history. To set a record in this program is meaningful. It's under siege here late from Clemson. Leshnak comes out, ball is loose. And this time, sure-handed will pick this up, and an injured player back for Clemson.
She's in a lot of pain, you can see it, but she's just sacrificing her body for her team. This is an important game, and yeah, it looks like Pinto, as she was clearing it, got a piece of Speckmeyer on that, and that's an awkward fall as well. Now, she's not typically known as a physical player, but because she hasn't been able to get as many touches on the ball, she's trying to get the ball any way that she possibly can, and unfortunately, that means she's been on the ground a little bit more.
She's nearing the sideline, gets a little giddy up there. Runs toward the fourth official to try and get summoned back into the game. Six minutes to go for Clemson's ACC tournament hopes. Be another final for Carolina. And a tug, and the jersey extended away from Alex Kimball.
Foul, Carolina.
Yeah, there's the tug right there. It didn't look like it from the beginning, but at the very last, took the whole jersey with her.
No, it quickly became clear that that was the right call.
Substitutions for Clemson entering.
Change for the Tigers.
Number 22, Ellen Colborn. Replacing number 7,
returns.
Sydney Dawson.
Dawson out. Sydney Dawson out of Walsh Jesuit High School outside Akron. Show some respect, Kat. That's former national champion Walsh Jesuit High School.
There you go.
Kimball. Carolina trying to put this away in the final 5 minutes. They've won a corner.
Carolina, number 616, Julia Ashley.
Quick work here, Bailey. Into the corner, Andrew Jeske. Moy ahead, Pinto. This begins the competitive game of keep away.
Well, now it's time for just take as many risks as possible for Clemson. It doesn't matter if you lose this game 1-0 or 4-0, just throw some numbers forward.
Well, pump the brakes here. McKeever was backing up to take this goal kick and then went down with a non-contact injury. She's grabbing at her left lower leg by her ankle and feet. She just sort of bounced backwards and pulled up lame.
That is never good.
I think she can tell something's amiss here as the rain begins to pour down in Cary. Well, there are some storms in the area.
Let's just hope it's just rain.
For now. Some fans are taking cover. We're lucky right now this is blowing the other way.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, for now. As the concourse at Wake Med Soccer Park fills up, and all eyes on McKeever, who's back to her feet. Another look at maybe a slip here. Or
yeah, it just looks like, you know, it's tough when it's non-contact and a slip like that. This field is slick, but it's good to see her up and running again.
there's a bit of a pavilion, Wake Med Soccer Park, that's filling up to capacity.
Yeah, and you can see the sheets of rain with the light right there, and I'm just glad we're undercover ourselves. But I have my rain boots if I needed to.
You do?
Yes.
This is an exaggeration. These are these are some stylish, top-notch boots.
Yeah, you can see them from a mile away.
You know, our producer, Rick Willensick, has an identical pair on today. I don't know if you saw that.
I missed that one.
Yeah. So get into the Carolina bench. Just over 3 minutes to play. The goal came in the 65th minute. Rachel Dorwart, her second of her freshman season. The other one came against Illinois. That was the first game of the UNC season. So at the moment, bookends. Carolina really does have a way of ending games on their terms. Coming up 30 minutes after the conclusion of this one on ACC Network Extra and the Watch ESPN app, it's going to be Florida State and UVA in the second semifinal. With the final coming on Sunday, noon Eastern on ESPNU. And now it looks like North Carolina is on their way again. Got their 22nd title back in the regular season. And they're looking for their second straight win against Clemson this year by 1-0 margins. They're coming back in September. That did just get out. This will be a yellow card for dissent.
You say one more word to me, I'm going to send you.
Foul. Yellow card. Clemson. Number 15 stands foul.
Throw for Clemson Time running down here.
Yeah, and it just wasn't Clemson's day today. They had an opportunity to hit the crossbar. That was their best one off the set piece, but the pressure just got to them from the very beginning of this game, and unforced errors for them was really the problem. And Coach Wadwanski, has to be happier with the second half performance, but not exactly what we expected from Clemson today. They just never really got on that front foot. They started the second half well, but they just haven't ended it as well as they wanted to, and North Carolina just really dominated every facet of the game.
Players slipping down, perhaps giving Clemson a lifeline. This is kicked out. Throw Clemson, final 45 seconds.
With this rain, anything can happen.
All sliced along the top of the 18, and they're going to have to go half the distance of the field just to get this back toward the goal line. Moeller to throw. Fires into Staub. Won't be able to get to this. Net is empty. 20 seconds. Maybe one more time Clemson can load up. Won't be here. Kimball will take it to the corner and salt off the rest of the clock. Carolina is headed to the ACC semifinal again. And into the final now. A 1-0 win as rain dumps down on Wake Med Soccer Park. North Carolina is going to the ACC final on Sunday.
And it really is dumping. It's perfect timing to end this game, and you got to think Virginia and Florida State are just hoping that this, just wets the field a little bit for them. Like what they like to do before games, international play with. To make it a little bit wet, and then it just passes them by in the next 30 minutes.
Well, for Carolina, the winning goal comes in the 65th minute. Rachel Dorwart comes up with her second career goal. The freshman will stick-to-itiveness.
And a lot of it has to do with the change of points so quickly, and then Rachel Jones just beating her defender 1v1, getting to the end line, getting the cross off, and Dorwart just staying with it. Goes right under McKeever. Because the first initial tackle worked for Staub, but Dorwart was able to get up just a little bit quicker and put the ball in the back of the net and give North Carolina the victory.
Final thoughts on this one. You said it earlier, not Clemson's day.
Not Clemson's day. It was North Carolina's day. They were on the front foot the whole game. That pressure really put Clemson on their back foot, and Anson Dorrance has to be proud of his team for the effort, and they really did dominate possession. They dominated in shots. They just dominated defensively, and they deserved that win.
Well, we know one half of the final now. We take a look at the ACC bracket. This ACC tournament heads to Sunday for North Carolina. Question who they'll see. It'll be the number 7 seeded Florida State. Had their number in years past. Or Virginia. It'll be Sunday, noon Eastern on ESPNU. Well, we'll try and stay dry, Kat.
It'll be a fun game. This Florida State-Virginia is a great rivalry it's turned into, both similar style of play. So it'll be fun to watch and see how it unfolds.
So for producer Rick Willenzik, director Kyle Lang, Kat Whitehill alongside Mike Watts, our talented ESPN crew. So long from Wake Med Soccer Park in Cary, where North Carolina have advanced to Sunday's ACC Women's Soccer Championship. To watch this entire game on replay, as well as others on the family of ESPN networks, go to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Good night from Cary.